All praise to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi. Double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS. Shalom to the hopefully elect. All right, this video is going to be in response to a question that was asked on the apostles' comment board on their live chat during their camp today. And I think I'll call it, I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it. All right, something to the effect of judgment on all mankind. Well, I don't know what I'm going to call it. I just see by the time you see the video, I will have a title for it, Lord willing. So anyway, let me start by saying that I believe this individual right here is not even a real person. I think it's just a generated, an AI bot, a scoffer, a generated scoffer. However, edification can still come from the comment. So I didn't, and this, as Apostle Hart said, I didn't even take it down off the comment board. I just left the person up there.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakwakwadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the mighty Akim Wakwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity, as well as the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawa Club coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson is going to be on this comment response. Slakia. On the general concept of these comments, all right, where you have people that, as he said, that's why I played the video, because I do agree. Cause I actually learned I think like a year ago that what they do is there is just one person that has multiple accounts on, like, I think it's because there's something called a virtual computer, which basically it's like you in my computer, like in my computer right here, you can see me make another computer or a computer screen. All right, so it will be a computer inside of a computer, and all the information of that computer, that virtual computer, is completely different. So if I have a black laptop, I can create a white desktop. That's what it will be registered as, if in the event of something tracing it. All right, so that's basically what I heard. And I also saw someone actually do it before, like many years ago. I actually saw someone create that. So anyway, as a result of that, this is why I definitely agree that a lot of these people are just one person scoffing from different things, making these different accounts, doing all these different stuff just to kind of annoy people, or just to push out this one narrative. All right, and especially with I want to say primarily the C9 thing. I think that was a big time for that, especially a fact checkers. I think that's basically what they were primarily called, where it wouldn't just be like, oh, DeMarcus from whatever, but it would actually be one random Edomite, John whatever, that's on one account, then he goes to another account and speaks and speaks on the same thing somewhere else, or maybe to help support himself, make himself seem more credible, he would reply to himself to kind of like win the argument and whatnot. So these are the things that I just thought was something that if you don't know, now you know, type of thing. So continuing on with this type of stuff, this is a thing that is definitely possible, and the reason why I agree with him so heavily is simply because I think the question that he actually asked, that this person, whoever he is, actually asked, is just so dumb and it's so misplaced. It's like no one that actually knows of the scriptures would actually be asking this type of stuff. It's like, it's kind of like an irrelevant question along with like a stupid question, and then sprinkle a bit of like, why would you ask this question in the first place? All right, so that's where that's the conclusion that I've come to with this person more specifically, as well as, I've also had run-ins where I've had people ask certain questions that just, or not ask certain questions, but have made certain statements or ask certain questions that just made no sense. So it's like, why are you asking this question, or what does this have to do with anything, or what does this mean in the grand scheme of things? Like, how does this help not just you but anyone in general? All right, because like it's always someone that's always trying to that it's either trying to Slocky, that was another thing with when it comes to YouTube, for example. I noticed that there's this one documentary, and I talked about this before in multiple other lessons, where it literally showed up, and on top of that, it auto played for me, and as well as someone else's computer that I saw, where I genuinely believe that YouTube is forcing this down our throats, where whenever I watch a YouTube video that is like a brother's lesson or something like that, immediately after on autoplay, the documentary False Prophet and whatnot, or Hebrew Israelites Debunked, I think they're both free on YouTube, just free on YouTube. All right, it's like I don't think there's any ads on it. It's a YouTube movie that you can literally just watch it for free, and there's no issues on it. And the thing about that is, like, they're actually trying to just forcefully trying to entice people away from acknowledging that they are Israelites. Okay, trying to do that. Where that documentary, I saw parts of it, I think half of it, I want to say, I don't remember, and it was just so weak. It was just some. The irony of it is just that it's the documentary. Slocky, I'm talking so much, but the irony of it was that the documentary was just a bunch of Christian word salad, all right, word vomit, where like if it didn't work on us when we were in Christianity, why, if we left Christianity because of that, why would you use the exact same Christian tactics in order to try to convince us to come to return back? Like that's how stupid. Like, these people don't think. They're incapable of debunking the truth. All right, but Slocky, again, let's go back. Let's get back to the topic. And as I said before, this is the matter that of people, making comments and making statements and asking questions that are either irrelevant, dumb, or just have no need to be asked, or have no place to be asked at all. But yet they're doing it. Now over here, 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 3. Knowing this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lusts. And these are scoffers. I think this person is a scoffer, but what happened was, as you heard him say, he was just ignored, because like this is just a stupid question. It's like, well, what does that even mean? What are the implications on that? Like, all you're just trying to say is that it doesn't make sense that everyone is suffering because of Adam, but what salvation? What was the salvation that he's talking about? All right, and even then, I don't want to get into this. I'm not gonna get into it. Okay, Slovakia. Well, to get into it a little bit, I guess the bit of salvation is that yes, there is going to be salvation. All right, which I guess let me prove that quickly or briefly, even though this is kind of diverting. Romans chapter 11 verse 26, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. So basically all of Israel shall be saved, and that's where we are going to receive the mercy, because the Israelites specifically are going to receive the mercy, because we are the ones that specifically are what's the word, are the favored of Yahawah Shai. It's Abraham, Seth, Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Like all these are like the favorites. Obviously, there's more, but just the primary ones that just the primary ones. But basically, yeah, this is the thing where the favored of Yahawah Shai, they're going to be the ones that are going to be delivered, and they're going to be the ones that's going to receive salvation. Okay, it's not just anyone or everyone. All right, and we have to pay. We have to pay for, because we were given as the Israelites, we were given our own nation. We were given dominion, because there was the point in time like King David, King Solomon, and more, where the Israelites were at the top, and then they lost the power because they went off. They were not following after, and that's why most, I'll say most, not even me, I just speak for myself. Most of for me, I can't really name any other king after King Solomon, because like it's just like I can't name them off memory, because they went off. All right, it's like after them, it's like Israel just fell off. Israel went down. I think there was at least one, I believe, that actually did follow after the ordinances of Yahawah Shai, but I think it was just a brief rulership, and then like they just moved on to the next one because he wasn't as significant compared to King David and King Solomon. Though I don't want to say definitively because I don't remember. I would have to go back to read it. But yeah, the main thing is, we had our time to rule. We had our time to be good. And when we were in power, we messed that up. And as a result of that, we're suffering as a result of it. So these are the things that we have to take note of, and, be sure not to mess up. Okay, stay on the Lord's good side rather than constantly pissing him off. Now let's go back again, Slakia, to the actual topic, which is these foolish questions and terrible comments. Okay, and this is not to say that you're not allowed to ask questions. This is not to say that you're not allowed to speak, depending on what your reason is for. Oh my God, it's gonna hurt someone. But you have to understand that there are certain people that clearly don't have any good intentions behind the questions that they ask. Okay, and on top of that, there's no attempt at reading, trying to understand. Like, okay, what are they actually trying to say? Can I get some more understanding? That was the thing. I think, honestly, for me, speak from my experiences and from what I've seen, I feel like the sincerity of when people were actually trying to learn, it was a lot more, 10 years ago, maybe. I think a lot more people, a lot more brothers were actually trying to learn 10 years ago compared to now, where, cause I don't see as much opportunity to. Well, I guess that maybe that's just dependent on where I'm at, but I feel like we've gotten to a point where more and more of our people have been learning and stuff like that, and there's more Israelites now compared to, which is why there's so many Christians and Jake or whatever, all right, whatever they would classify themselves as, that are trying to speak out against this truth. All right, so. Yeah, basically as a result of that, these people just don't know, and there's a lack of sincere desire to actually study, all right, as well as laziness, because, I'm just going to ride the coattails of whatever, I'm just going to listen to whatever this Israelite group says, and I'm not going to study myself. Well, that's slothfulness, and you have to, work out your own salvation. All right. Now, Matthew 22, verse 29, Yahushua answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of Yahweh. So, yeah, that's basically the thing where, you have these questions and these comments that are asked when there's no attempt at actually trying to learn and see, okay, what does the scripture say about this? Or, let me actually read it myself, because that's another thing that you actually have to do, is you have to actually read it yourself. You don't need to just believe what one person says. You actually have to, you should feel compelled to go and do the research on your own. All right, which, by the way, I know research isn't the most engaging thing to do, but it is very important. I've learned so many things, and I've made so many connections as well. Connections in terms of like information gathering, by the way. But I've made so many connections in seeing how yes, this does tie in perfectly with this. This does make sense and whatnot. Where comparatively, if I didn't do the research, and I wouldn't have saw how everything links up. So the studying, the researching, that actually helps build your faith and further solidify your belief in YAHAWASHI, as well as the fact that what you believe in, all right, actually makes sense. All right, or if you see things that are contradictory, then you can just dive deep into it more to see, okay, what is this? Am I coming to the right conclusion, or am I just taking only one faulty thing and then being led astray? All right, and that goes for literally everything. All right, because there are people who follow after a million different other stuff, and they don't actually do research, because again, we're in the age of, well, not again, but as I've said before, we're in the age of information, and literally nobody wants to do any type of research or search stuff up. All right, they have all the information. The Google is a mass library of information you will get for literally damn near everything, but yet no one wants to use it. Okay, continuing on, Titus chapter 3 verse 9, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions, and avoid strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. All right, so yeah, that's another thing where foolish questions are, where it's like, again, like how does this help anyone? Like, what does this mean? Like, what's the point of it, besides to try to incite anger when someone trying to say, oh, you're dumb because this, then there, or trying to goad someone into an argument. All right, so yeah, that's basically what we have to look out for. Now, 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 23, but foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing that they do gender strifes. And again, you just watch out for whom you are arguing with, and because there are people whose only intentions are to argue and to get a rise out of you, rather than true understanding. Okay, Matthew chapter 24 verse 24, for there shall arise false HaMashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And that's a thing where there are so many people that are speaking out against YAHAWASHI, speaking out against the truth, that they are that their leads to deception and falling away. All right, but except for the elect will never fall for any of that type of deception. All right, now 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15, say, show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman, and needed not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. And that's the thing where I was just saying, go and study this stuff yourself. Okay, you hear something from someone. Okay, well, go and check and go learn more. Maybe go read the context of how some of these scriptures are written. Maybe go and do X, Y, and Z and whatnot. Like, study whatever you need to study, because at the end of the day. But also be careful about what you're studying, because actually there was I forgot which book it was, but there was these biblical books that people were reading, and quote unquote biblical books that people were reading, and it was saying stuff about, I think, Jacob and Esau, and they were saying stuff about how Esau's son wanted to kill Jacob and stuff like that. But the problem with that was that it went against the timeline of the scriptures. I forgot there was a whole book, and there was a whole book on it. I wish I remembered it, but I don't remember. I think it's maybe the Book of Enoch or something like that. I don't know. But basically, there was some, what's the word? Some stuff that did not. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. I think it's on this brother's channel. I'll be quick. If I don't find it, then I will just stop and go back to the lesson. Okay, wait. Okay, I think this is it. Oops, shit.
When you study this truth, you have to focus on the Holy Bible or you are going to be bugged out. Book of Sirach, 49. It's all that bugged out Anunnaki crazy shit. Yeah.
I think this might be it. I want to say it is, but it's not. It doesn't look like it. Let me see. No, this is not it. It's not it. Hold on. Oh, okay, the Book of Jasher. Yes, I think this is it.
All right, so.
All right, whatever. Slocky, I don't think this is it either. But the thing is that he did make a video where he literally spoke on how there was inconsistencies with the timeline of when Jacob or Esau had died, and it did not line up with what the scriptures had said. So that's why, even though the book, I think the Bible does mention Enoch, the Book of Enoch, I think, but the problem is that it doesn't actually have the information, or we don't have the access to the proper knowledge and the proper information, because all that stuff has been corrupted. Esau has been corrupting stuff, and iconoclasm, as well as just messing with stuff in general. So we just need to focus on what we do know, what we do have, rather than trying to explore all these new different options. All right, so yeah, just focus on just the scriptures rather than trying to go over to these other stuff. Okay, so yes, studying is good, of course, but it's not always the best thing to just go anywhere. All right, let me actually get this. 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 7, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of truth. So yes, you might be willing to learn and do all this reading, sure, but that's also a potential to bug you out and to lead you astray, because you want to go and learn all these other stuff that does not matter. All right, you want to go learn American history, so now you know all this stuff, but you don't know anything about the actual prophecies. All right, like these, or you want to go learn about all these other deep books and stuff like that. Well, again, like, it doesn't help you, because do you know anything about the prophecies as while you are learning and studying on something else? All right, so yeah, that's basically that. Let's continue on. Revelation chapter 1 verse 3, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. And again, like, this is a thing where you're going to be blessed for following after YAHAWASHI rather than going after something else. Okay, you want what is the Lord's rather than, as a matter of fact, let's get that as well.
So when I talk to you all about that passage of scripture that says, if you despise my people, you despise me. Ooh. That right there.
Foolish.
Sounds like you should say it. That's a deal breaker.
Wait,
right
no,
there.
weak.
How can you be in Christ if you despise his people. Because just like he said, if you despise my people, you despise me.
Slock, I'm trying to remember the wording. Okay, here. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 25. Because the foolishness of Yahweh is wiser than men, and the weakness of Yahweh is stronger than men. And that's basically it, where the spiritual wisdom is wiser than the wisdom of men, where men at their peak is weaker and dumber than the Lord at his lowest. All right, that's basically what the scriptures are. All right. Next, Acts chapter 8, verse 30. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. Slakia, tongue tied. Anyway, so yeah, this is another example where sometimes you need someone to guide you. You need someone to help you understand. But again, it's still a dual thing where you need to also do the work yourself. You can't just be overly reliant on someone to teach you and guide you, because that person can lead you astray. But at the same time, you need to do the research on your own. But at the same time, you can't just be overly reliant on yourself, because that's where people go and lean on their own understanding and make things how they want it to be rather than how it actually is. All right, where again, that's another stumbling block, where people are too arrogant and too focused on, how I think, or this is how I want things to be, so this is how it's going to be. All right, Acts 17 verse 11. These were more noble than those in Thessalonica, in that they received the word with all readiness of mind, and searched the scriptures daily whether those things were so. And again, when you are being taught, be it through watching these videos, okay, learning, all the precepts, breakdowns, and all that stuff, different stuff like that, are you able to verify it? Okay, and I'll give an example, and then I'll end things here. It's in Romans 9. What was it? It was in 25. Romans 9:25, as he saith also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. Okay, so then obviously I'm going to say, okay, well, hold on. In the context, all right, I'll say in the context, Romans 9:24, even us whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Okay, so yeah, we read that. So basically, the thing is over here is that I would say, okay, I would properly say that, yeah, this means, or verse 24 is, as he called of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. This is a reference to Hosea in chapter 1, all right? But then it would be up to you, which I guess I'll just leave this as homework. Perfect. Never mind, I won't leave it. I'll just say it. But this would be where you would go and search up. Okay, well, he's saying that this is from Hosea, but it doesn't say Hosea. Nowhere does it say Hosea. Let me actually look. Hosea. That's all right. Yeah, Hosea. Okay, it's not in here. All right, so now let's just do a quick Google search so I can show you an example of this. What is What is OC? All right, I could have done this, but whatever, my bad. OC in the Bible. Oh wait, hold on. In Romans 9:25. In Romans 9:25, OC is a Greek name for the Old Testament prophet Hosea. All right, so as it says in OC, all right. Now let's actually go to OC, all right, chapter 1, and we'll just jump down to the point. Verse 10, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be called, there should be said unto them, ye are the sons of a living power. So over here, the Gentiles are Israelites, okay? Because if you actually go up in the verse, in the chapter, Slakia, you'll see that an Israelite had children, and these are Israelites by blood, but as time went on, all right, they are called heathens, they're called Gentiles. So as a result of that, this change, and the prophecy was that these people that are called Gentiles, that are called not the Lord's people, will then once again be called the Lord's people. All right. So this is where you have this example. This is where you have this example of that, where again it's the change. All right, but it's a quote unquote change when you have people saying that, okay, well, the Lord is dealing with everyone now, when that's not true. And I just showed you that through Hosea and through Romans 9:25, where it says this was a reference to a prophecy in Hosea chapter 1. So this is where you can actually go and verify it. And I just showed you an example of actually verifying the information rather than just believing in what I said just because I said it. All right, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that it's true. But we're showing you through evidence that yes, in fact, the things that I'm saying, or a lot of Israelites are saying, all right, are in fact true. Okay, we did the research, and I'm not saying don't do research. Definitely go do the research to make sure that you believe what you want to believe, or what you actually believe in. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Rekwak, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and Abad Ball and Shalom, Slakia.